All right, my name's Jeff Jake Hughes. This is Teague Travis. Teague's a wrestler at Father Tolton. He's got about 8 weeks to before he's competing again. So today we are going to start working on his core and also on how to incorporate his hips and his back for whenever he's finished. He just got done warming up on his bike for 5 minutes. Now what we're going to do, we did some light stretching, like some arm circles, some hip circles. Now what he's doing, what I'm trying to do is trying to get his core to engage before we start doing sumo deadlifts. So he's doing 4 sets of 45 seconds with 30 seconds rest in between, making sure he's keeping his core tight, making sure his head's up, and the weight, and he's engaging his core through this region right in here. Again, we're doing 4 sets of 45 seconds with 30 seconds rest. All right, we just got done doing our planks, so now what we're working on here is we're going to do some sumo deadlifts. Trying to get his hips to engage. What he wants to do is making sure that he's locking out his hips, his legs, and keeping a strong neutral back. We just did a set of 5 for warm-ups. We'll work all the way up, and what we're going to do today is we're going to do 8 singles. Again, just working on the explosiveness, trying to keep the form. We're trying to work on explosive power here and trying to get as much strength as possible over these next 6 to 8 weeks before his wrestling season starts back up. So that was set 1. We're going to load the bar up a little bit more and do another set of 3, and then we'll go and do his 8 singles with about 20 seconds rest. And this is his next set. Again, he wants to make sure the shoelaces are underneath the bar. His toes are turned out a little too far. Turn them in just a little bit. There you go. Wants to make sure he stands tall and thrusting everything together. So he wants to lock out his hips, needs to be thrusting to the bar, and he make sure he's staying strong. Like for him to lead a little bit more with his head. I think when they lead with their head, that pushes their butt down and allows them to stay strong through the core. But that was we're going to start working on our 8 singles. I actually got this philosophy from a powerlifter by Louis Simmons. He liked doing singles with about a 30-second rest, but I break it down to about 20 seconds rest. So just want him to walk away and then come back and walk back up to the bar and hits another single. So we'll hit 8 singles with about 20 seconds rest. Again, just working on the explosiveness and trying to get that explosive strength. So whenever he's engaged with his wrestling opponent in a single leg or a double leg, especially on a double leg, he can blast and finish that lift or that takedown. Good. You're fine. Sorry, guys. Pretty good. I like for him what I'd like for him to do is roll his shoulders back before he approaches the bar. That allows him to keep his shoulders back. A lot of times when they're hunched over at the start, then when they get to the top, they try to hitch and roll their shoulders back. So I like for them to roll their shoulders back before their lift. That allows them to engage their core, plus allows them to tuck their butt a little bit. So roll his shoulders back. Now he's going to explode through with his head and lock everything out. Good. Good. Can still get a little bit more roll with your shoulders. So really roll your shoulders back. There you go. Keeping your chest out, keeping your spine neutral and your back neutral. Lead with the head. Good. A little too much jerk in his shoulders. He needs to make sure his hands or his arms are fully extended. I don't like that jerk at his shoulders, but he's getting a little tired here, so we're going to work on that. He's got 3 more sets, or 3 more reps. So just go down until you touch the bar and then pull the bar right back up. Keep those arms straight. There you go, no jerk. Steady, perfect. That's much better, much better. I use the safety bar squat just to help reteach the form of squat and also help him work with his depth. He's got, we're gonna do here, this is his work set. We just do 4 sets of 5 here. Again, wanting to make sure that he's working on his depth. So when he walks out, he's gonna make sure his legs are extended, get a little closer so you can use the rack to help you if you need to, okay? So his legs are straight, and then he's gonna break and hinge at the hip. So he's closing that car door, coming back. He's got a little too much swing, so slow down a little bit and go a little deeper. You need to get a little deeper. Really work, and that's where, there you go, you can still go a little deeper. That's it, that's where I want right there. So we're gonna work on this. He needs to get a little closer to the rack so he can help that, and I'll show him in just a second. All right, we talked about his adjustments. This should be a lot better set here. So he's gonna set up a little tighter to the bar. There you go, right there, perfect. Gonna use those racks. He's gonna slide down, there, perfect. I want him to kind of pause at the bottom and do kind of like a pause squat. He still, as you can see the bars twisting a little bit. That means he's twisting a little bit. So we need to engage the core a little bit more and keeping that bar settled. That's why I like using the safety bar squat, especially when you're first getting started, because it helps me analyze their weaknesses in their lifts. So I know what this is, set 3. When that bar's moving up and down, it should be moving up and down on an even plane, so it shouldn't be swaying forward or backwards. That's how you know if they're engaged good and breaking at the hips. His knees are a little too far forward, so he needs to break at his hips a little bit more. Visualize closing that car door, going down and then backing up. Good. Chin slightly above parallel and then going good. Still like for him to go a little deeper. Perfect. Good. He's got one more rep here. That's good. That's good. All right, this is set 4. All right, we just got done doing safety bar squats and sumo deadlifts. Now what we're working on finishing his shots. So I like using the T-bar row here and doing a reverse lunge with it. That allows him to work the eccentric phase of the lift. Also allows him to finish just like he would on a single leg or a blast double, where he's got to finish that hip through. So that's what we're working on right now. What he wants to focus on here is making sure he keeps that weight back on his hips, and he's leaning back, and now he's finishing just like he would whenever he takes a shot. Now he's going to finish that shot, bringing that leg through. It makes him engage his core, plus it works his quad, his hip flexors, his glutes, his hams. It's just a really good exercise. It's set 3. Like for him to keep that back leg a little straighter when he's extending back and then thrusting forward. His knees are still too far forward, needs to keep his weight back farther. There we go. And then drive. But as you can see, his cores, he needs to engage his core, keep his core engaged. Keep his head straight. All right, what I'm gonna have him do now here is a linear hack press. I like using this just to take the weight a little bit off his spine here, but we can still engage the hips. So that way it gets some hip thrust. So we're working on his hips, because like I was telling you before, his hips are really weak. 8. His hips, we need to keep his hips engaged, working his glutes and hams and quads. Plus this exercise makes you engage your core also, but it takes a little bit of pressure off your upper spine here. But his last set wasn't real good. He didn't have his feet proportion right. We worked on that. He needs to make sure he keeps his core engaged here, making sure he's not using his arms to lift, but he's using his hips. Really want to make sure he's throwing his knees out, as you can see here. keeping his knees turned out, opening up his hips. I just like this exercise because it really reinforces when you're down in the hole on the eccentric part of your squat, you're keeping your knees out, and then when you're coming up, you got to throw your knees out. So I found this at 3. You can see, you can really see he's throwing his knees out. This is his last set. He's done 4 sets at 8 here. Getting kind of fatigued, which is good. We're about done with our legs. We're going to do some single leg curls, and then we're going to work some back. Right now what we're doing is we're doing hammer single leg curls. Really working on the full range of motion here. Exploding up, kind of controlling it down. He needs to go a little slower on the eccentric phase, and then explode it up, and then back down. As you can see, he's keeping his core engaged, staying upright. We're doing 3 sets of 10 here. Explode up, control it down. Explode up, control it down. We'll supplement this with RDLs. We did some hamstrings or some lunges, so we will also supplement some leg extensions. We're going to go do back right now. He just got done doing 4 sets of 10 on just regular straight pull-ups. So now what I'm having him doing, I'm having him do cable lat pull-downs, 2 separate handles. I like using this because he's stronger on one side than the other. Plus, with the bar, it doesn't seem to be able to give you much range of motion, and they have to jerk back a little bit farther. So I like using the cables. It's a straight motion, bringing it straight down to the top of their shoulders. As you can see, as he's coming up to the top, he's really extending that shoulder area and then bringing down, so you can really see his second set doing it. Again, he's doing a nice job controlling it. Exploding down, eccentric phase, he's controlling it. Eccentric, he's really pulling it down, staying nice and tight. He's got his gait, he's got his core engaged. He's breathing properly. As you can see, his right arm is a little weak. Next set. As we get going through this workout, the intensity level will get stronger. The rest in between sets will get less, and we'll start supersetting exercises together too, just to try to get that muscle endurance, trying to get that muscle fatigue for wrestlers. They had to have that muscle endurance and that muscle strength and be able to recuperate a lot quicker. This is his last set. We also will use towels instead of handles too. As I said, he's a wrestler, so we like working on his grip. So there's no straps, no chalk, nothing. We're trying. This is the next exercise I like doing. It's called line cables. Again, I use this for wrestlers because a lot of times they get in on those single legs and they can't finish. So they're on their chest, all flat on their belly, and they can't finish that pulling that leg in. So I use these cables. As you can see, it really takes you have to contract your core, but it really isolates that subscapular lat area and even your shoulder capsules to make sure that you're engaged there. I superset those along with some rope thrust. Again, just trying. He's still a wrestler, so we're never not wrestling technically. So we're always trying to muscle endurance. So he's just doing these for 20 seconds in between supersets. So here we go. Just both arms, trying to keep his core strong, get in a more athletic position, so butt down a little bit. We're just finishing up our workout right now, so we're going to get our heartbeat up just a little bit here, supersetting these 2 exercises back and forth. And then he'll do some stair steppers or some bike again today. He's still going to wrestle this afternoon too, so we'll get another ab workout core. So he's not competing, but he's never not wrestling either. All right, good.